Well, the way I wanted to approach this today is to expose those that haven't seen you, which I think is probably the minority of anybody on YouTube. But give a little bit of background around how you got to where you're at right now. Because for me, I've followed you from back in the Press Democrat days. I remember that old blog when you began there, and some of the heated conversations that you were able to create, the dialogue that you were able to stoke was pretty remarkable to me. And so I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about your history in covering the Niners, and where did it all start for you?
Yeah, it started in 2011 at the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. I was 23. That's the math. I was 23. It was, here's how it worked. Matt Mayoko was at the Santa Rosa Press Democrat for a long time, got hired at NBC Sports Bay Area, big time promotion. Then the next year, Eric Branch takes over that blog. In 1 year, does such a great job, gets hired full-time at the Chronicle. It was a big deal blog, okay? And then they're trying to figure out who to get it to next, and I get the job. A lot of people are pissed because it's Lil Cohn's son, and who the hell is Grant Cohn? A lot of people didn't like that. I didn't realize what a big deal that job was. Like, all of a sudden, I felt like I was in like the public spotlight, and people were discussing, does he deserve this? Like, hold on, I'm making $1,000 a month. I'm not a full-time employee. I think most people would turn down this opportunity. Anyway, that's how I started. $1,000 a month writing for a website. And it was, write every day, get as much hits as possible. If you get 1 million views in a month, we might give you an extra $500, something like that. And I was expecting I was going to just take off. 23 years old, taking over the blog that Mayoko and Branch wrote. Like, I'm going to be at SI, ESPN within 3-4 years, and it just never happened. I just stuck there at Santa Rosa Press Democrat for about 10 years, and I went from about making $1,000 a month to up to about $3,000 a month, and then I was getting knocked back down to about $1,500 a month, and I realized they're pushing me out. Like, they don't even want me anymore. I failed. So I really thought I had blown it, a golden opportunity, till about 2 years ago.
What happened 2 years ago?
Pandemic. Everyone started going online. SI reached out to me and gave me a new opportunity. They were a lifeboat, and it was like, you're not a full-time employee again, and you're not working with the magazine, but think of us as a partnership. You're the publisher of this website, and you can do. And it's been the greatest thing ever. It got me into these videos. I had to put videos in the articles anyway. I pretty much turned into my own boss. I have 2 different revenue streams, and I never needed a big-time company in the Bay Area to co-sign me, hire me. I'm pretty much self-employed, and I never have anyone tell me you can't say this, you should say that. Would you do this? It's the best. So that's
bet.
Yeah,
I bet. When you were looking back at the Press Democrat days, what was the most challenging aspect of that experience?
Feeling like a failure for most of it. Feeling like, wow, my own employer isn't that excited about me. The fans think I don't deserve this job. Everywhere I go to try to get the next job isn't really into me. I guess those years were really humbling, because I went to UCLA. That was a big shot to an 18-year-old's ego. And then you come out of UCLA, and I immediately got, a job covering the team. I thought I was a superstar. That's why I kept betting on myself and winning. And then 10 years, I was like coming up snake eyes on the craps table. And I just kept throwing the dice over for 10 years. And all of a sudden now I make way more money than I need. And I get to do exactly what I want. And and I'm my own boss. I mean, how did this happen? I don't know. It's kind of amazing. I hope it keeps going.
Did that humility that came out of those early years, does that fire you up today? Is that part of what drives you to do what you do now?
Absolutely. If it had just worked out for me at 23, 24, and like SI had hired me as a feature writer, I wouldn't have any of the drive I have right now. I don't even think I had that much drive in my 20s. I just felt like, man, I'm great. I'm amazing. So many people are going to realize it. And then I didn't really fight for it. And then it really took the PD saying, we don't really have the budget for you anymore, being like, oh my God, I need to get really resourceful. And then I don't know. I don't think I was a genius or anything, but things happened with the pandemic. I was in the right place at the right time. Things started working. I don't know. I mean, it's not just me. It's you and Vish and all the, I don't know. Everything came together, but the channel is helping. Really, really good. Thank you.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah.
Over that time, I mean, you have covered some interesting eras for the 49ers. Obviously, the Jim Harbaugh era, the period in between, and then the Kyle Shanahan era. What was your favorite? What was your favorite coaching staff throughout that time frame? Did you have one? Were you fonder of the years where the Niners were competitive, or was it more fun to cover them? I know this is a weird question, but when they were a dumpster fire, like, was that actually more entertaining?
No, I love the Kyle Shanahan era because it feels like my era. I mean, I covered the Harbaugh era too, and it was my beginning. It was wild. It was
Right.
in some ways even more entertaining than this. But my dad was the star back then. I was young. This to me feels like, you know, me and Kyle are like head to head. You know, like we in a way that me and Harbaugh really. I was trying to, but he was more concerned with my dad and Tim Kawakami, and me. I feel like it's me now, baby, and they know it. And I love this. So I'm really enjoying this current run, right? Like this season might be my favorite season ever. I've covered some really great teams, but like it's boring. You know, I mean, 2019, it was like, can we just get to the Super Bowl? Number one seed, like no one in the NFC can touch this team. Can we get to the Super Bowl already? This team, every week, it's like, they're great. No, they suck. Wait a second. They're great again. I love this season. So this is probably, I mean, that game in LA was one of the best games I've ever covered. This game in Dallas could be that too. Loving this year. Yeah.
It has been fantastic. Now, going back further in time, there was a period in your life where you were a San Francisco 49ers fan. Is that correct? Fair statement?
Absolutely. I mean, 1994, the Niners go to the Super Bowl. I'm in first grade. And everyone in school is wearing Niner jerseys. I'm a Niner fan. They win. I get to meet Steve Young like a few months later. So my dad covers it. It was like, hell yeah, I love the Niners when I was in the 90s, when I was a kid, up and through the Jeff Garcia years. And even after that, when I went to college and realized that they don't really show Niner games in LA, which is weird. Show Packer.
That is strange.
Like, what? Yeah. Anyway,
so over that time, what was it like transitioning as you come out of college, right? You have this rich history of being a 49er fan, of growing up in the Bay Area, of being exposed to Steve Young and all of the all-stars on those 90s teams, probably getting some inside access from your father. What was it like in transitioning from being a fan of the team to actually covering it when you came in for the Press Democrat?
It wasn't as hard for me as it would be for maybe other fans, because I think a big thing with fandom is it's something you share with your dad a lot of the time. Like 9 times out of 10, it's something you share with your dad. And I didn't have that. You know, my dad's like, dude, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm not a fan. I don't root for the teams I cover. And I was like, why? Can we be, you know, so like me being a fan was more like fitting in at school. It was never something that was really that important to me. And it was like, I was a fan of Steve Young because I met him. I was a fan of these players because I've met them. And then they retired. And then, you know, the Niners became Jed York's team, and it was like real easy to be like, I don't even like, I want to be like my dad. I want to be a sports writer. I don't know this team anymore. It was really quite an easy transition. I was ready at about 22.
So the Niners' painful years there in some of the early 2000s created an easier atmosphere where it was simpler to let go of the team and transition.
They should not call this team the 49ers. They're the Santa Clara something or others. The 49ers are the team that I rooted for as a kid when Eddie Barlow was the owner. Like, this is Cleveland West. This is Youngstown West. And it's Youngstown West. And, you know, they got cops. They have a very good team, but it's just not the same thing. Santa Clara something or others is what they are.
Fair statement. They do need to get back into that city. All right, before I get to my next question, going to bring in HR here saying, you succeeded because you have good morals, Grant, and you're inclusive and you have the best guests. You built your own tree of podcasters. Yeah, it is fascinating the way in which you did that. I mean, I know how it happened for me. I just happened to have a couple of strange thoughts that occur when you're trapped inside the house, spending too much time locked inside, and reached out to you with a couple of those ideas, a couple of articles. We bounced back and forth and I jumped on. But where did you come up with the idea of bringing others into the conversation? When did that occur to you?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think actually that's probably been the key of my success, this thing. And it was never a plan. Like, what happened was when we started doing StreamYard, and I basically was posting 2 videos a day on YouTube, and it was working. And I kept wanting to post more. And what I did was I would go on other people's shows and I'd say, can you send me the video afterward? I want to post it on my channel, get you some followers. And that worked. Like, I figured I could post a video an hour, and pretty much that's what I do now. But I was like, where do I get all this content from? I have to stream daily, and I don't want to repeat myself. because
Right.
that's freaking boring. So why don't
Yes.
I bring on fans, and why don't I make fans feel like they're part of the process? You know, you want to ask Kyle Shanahan a question, go through me, you know, and I feel like fans like that.
Yeah, the interactivity. I mean,
Yeah.
you really do seem to understand that, grasp that, and embrace it, not just through bringing fellow podcasters on, but the inclusive nature of your streams in bringing in thoughts from the fan base and grabbing them from the chat and bringing them in as ideas.
Also, Niner fans thought they hated me. I mean, for a long time, they really thought they hated me, but they didn't know me. And so basically what I do with like the Cohn phone and things like that is gave fans an opportunity. Man, you don't like me, you disagree with me, you are welcome to come on the show and say what you think. And I'm here to listen. I don't get upset. I talk it through. What I've noticed is most people don't come on to argue with me. They just appreciate that I give them a platform to talk about what they want to talk about. And so
Right.
I think just me sharing my platform with Niner fans is maybe pretty popular.
I think that it has. You are certainly famous, potentially infamous in some circles, but mostly famous. You know, speaking of those that spew a little bit of hate, how do you deal with that? Being a public figure, being someone that is famous, but also mildly infamous, again, to people that may not actually know you, but sort of know of you and believe you to be a certain way. How do you deal that? How do you deal with folks coming in and being negative?
That's just on Twitter to me. I know
Yeah.
people don't like me on Reddit, but I don't go on Reddit. So what I do is I don't go on Reddit, and on
That's a good
Twitter
place to stay away from altogether.
I like everything on Twitter. If I read it, I used to be able to literally interact with every tweet that came to me. Now it's tough. But when I do check out Twitter and I get all the hate, I'm like, nice, good job, you got me. I mean, that's what Twitter's for, and I'm pretty toxic on Twitter too. So that's the energy that I cultivate. I'm not mad about it at all. I just like that people keep flooding my mentions. Like, thank you, I need that. Appreciate it.
Got to be talked about. Got to be talked about.
And honestly, like, no one comes up to me in the street and be like, Grant, I hate you. And you're like, everyone that comes to me in the street is nice. So if people want to talk crap behind my back, like, that's life. I don't care.
Yes, I think it's totally acceptable. They're right to do so. You know, if they want to spew some negative energy out into the universe, they can do that. What's been the most unexpected aspect of your rise to where you are now?
I mean, the money, the success. I mean, I thought I was gonna be like a substitute teacher. I thought my 30s were gonna be more depressing than my 20s. You know, I thought my 30s was gonna be the culmination of all my bad choices in my 20s. But now it's like I work at home. I make way more money than I need. I send myself on all the road trips. I have so much fun doing my job. I get to talk with you and all these different people. I mean, the whole thing is quite improbable when you step back and look at it. Like, I never got ESPN, any of these places to say, what's up? Hold on. I got to make sure that I'm plugged in because I don't want my computer to die.
Yeah, we can't have you dying midstream here.
I'm so successful, but I can't figure out how to plug my computer into the socket. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, the whole thing is really quite improbable. I thought, like, best case scenario, I would get a full-time job with the Press Democrat making like $50,000 a year and work my way up from there and probably cover a lot of high school stuff. But now, like, if NBC Bay Area or 95.7 The Game or ESPN came to me and said, hey, Grant, you're doing a great job. We're really impressed. All the things you've done. We want to make you a full-time employee. Here's $100,000. Here's a year. Here's $150,000 a year. I'd say, thanks. No, thanks. No.
Pass.
Absolutely. Like, honestly, I've been thinking about it. For me to do something different, I would need someone to come to me like offering me millions of dollars. Millions. Because what I do now is what I want. I'm my own boss. I make plenty of money. The growth has been a steady incline. And nah, man, because as soon as I get a job somewhere else, I got a boss. I got people telling me what to say, what I can't say, where I went too far. I got to talk about other teams. I probably got to leave the Bay Area. Nah, man, we're talking millions. I think I'm probably going to stay here because I don't think any organization is going to spend that kind of money to have me just be reckless, which is basically why I think people like me. I mean, I'm free to say things that everyone else isn't because they have bosses.
Yes.
And I'm professional. I mean, I studied my dad. I know where the line is, but I can get much closer to it than other people.
Yeah, you're a habitual line stepper. You step right to the line, but not over it, right? I mean, I think that's the key is making sure that you stay within reason.
Yes.
Speaking of, how would you actually describe your style of coverage for the 49ers? I mean, it is very unique. It is not what other people are doing, but how would you personally encapsulate that?
Yeah, it's that's a good question. It's like a combination of my dad's old school newspaper East Coast journalism style. That's where I was raised on, and then put into a modern Joe Rogan-y style production that is heavily involved with interaction with the audience, I guess. I guess what I try to do is not just have one way of cover. Like, I'm not trying to just be insightful, or I'm not trying to just piss you off or entertain you or make you laugh. I want everything, and that's why the whole cast of characters is so important. Like Jackhammer and his golf style hushed voice analysis of all 22 is vital for my channel. It needs that. And me and Jason riffing and joking is vital, and Vish's extreme seriousness is vital. So I think I want to hit everything, and I want to be better than everyone at everything. And I think also what's important is that it's free. All sports writers have decided that they got to put their stuff behind a paywall right now.
Right,
like, please keep doing that, because you just make me stronger. You're cutting out teenagers, kids in their 20s, a lot of people who don't want to throw away income on stuff that they could get for free right here. So yeah, that too.
It also strikes me as SoCal Niner fan comes in with a little super sticker there for us to say that you have created a dialogue, that it is not just about coverage, but you start conversations. And some of those, unfortunately, on Twitter devolve into arguments, but I don't think that's necessarily your doing.
But that's why we bring over here to YouTube, because it's much more respectful over here. Yeah.
It is. I mean, the comment section in YouTube, far easier to deal with than Twitter. Let me tell you that. That's much easier.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I find it to be fascinating, the level of dialogue that you are able to bring to the space, because you tend to not stick to one position, right? You don't latch on to one position and then build your foundation there and bring it in. You will explore different arguments and take a various logical approach to the same question.
I think it's boring when you just say, this is how I feel. I'm always right. I'm never proven wrong. I'm going to repeat myself. And I do that sometimes on certain issues. And I remind myself, like, dude, you're repeating yourself. It's boring. And when people are mad at me, it's because I do that. I always think it's more interesting to say, you know what? I was wrong. New evidence has presented itself. Let's talk about it. That's always interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the scientific method. That's the way it's supposed to go. When you get new information, you make a new hypothesis. That's the way it works.
I always felt smart people the smart people I met do stuff like that.
Yes. Joe Stull coming in. Grant and Rob, you are a great duo. Thank you for the content. Grant, where are you from? Rob, how is the Niners fan scene in Portland? All right, Grant. So you are, if I may speak for you, I believe an Oakland son. Is that not correct?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Oakland. I went to UCLA, came right back to Oakland. My mom is from Oakland. Her mom is from Oakland. I mean, there's 4 generations of Italians. I'm half Italian as well as half Jewish, and the Italian side of me is been in Oakland forever. So I'm very proud.
Forever. Yes. I mean, that is a deep family tree there, mixed in with a little bit of Brooklyn for good flavor. As far as the Portland scene for the Niner faithful, there is some bar out in Sandy, 122nd, but I tend to stay here in the man cave to watch, so I don't go out to the bar much on Sundays. I don't want my viewing experience to be hampered by loud noises and whatnot. I am intently viewing the game. Neil coming in, 2 goats, both have neighboring birthdays, Grant and Debo. Oh, I didn't know that. Do you know when Debo's birthday is? Did he just have one recently?
Yeah, hold on, let me see. Debo Samuel birthday. Oh, nice. Look at
that.
15th. Oh, 15th, nice,
man. You guys are just back to back celebrating.
The Capricorns, man. Those are the most. He is
most fascinating
on a tear right now.